Tonight, you travel quietly back in time, not arriving with sound or urgency, but easing gently into the stillness of an ancient Roman night, where stone holds the warmth of the day just a little longer, and the city, having finished its breathing, has begun to rest. You find yourself standing just inside the city gate, heavy stone rising on either side of you, its arch catching the soft glow of a single lamp, the light warm and steady, as if it has always been there, guiding without calling, illuminating without asking anything in return. Beyond the gate, the darkness deepens, not empty but calm, as though the city has folded itself inward for the night. If you enjoy drifting through places like this, you can subscribe and return whenever you like. But for now, there is nothing to follow, nowhere to be, and nothing required of you, except to move slowly and let the night hold you. As you step forward, your path narrows into a quiet stone corridor, its walls close and gently curving, each block worn smooth by countless days that have already passed, and now by the hush of night itself. An oil lamp hangs from an iron bracket above, its amber light spilling softly across the stones, fading gradually into shadow, as though the darkness is in no hurry to take over. Your footsteps make no sound, not because you are careful, but because the night seems to absorb everything, drawing movement inward, smoothing it down, until even the idea of noise feels distant. The air is cool here, faintly scented with stone and time, and the corridor seems to guide you forward without direction, inviting but never urging. The passage opens slowly into a small courtyard, enclosed and intimate, where low columns stand quietly at the edges, and potted plants rest in their places, leaves barely catching the glow of a nearby lamp. A stone bench sits empty beside a shallow basin, water resting so still that it reflects the light only faintly, as if even the surface has chosen to sleep. This is a space meant for evenings, for the final moments before doors are closed and lamps are dimmed, and the day releases its last thoughts. Nothing moves here, yet everything feels present, held together by the simple knowledge that this place is cared for, and that care for tonight has already been given. You continue on, leaving the courtyard behind, passing through another narrow way that bends gently toward the edge of the city. A water channel runs alongside the stone path now, its surface dark and slow, catching threads of golden reflection from a lamp mounted low on the wall. The stone beside it is damp and cool, polished by time and quiet repetition, and the water disappears ahead into shadow, suggesting distance and then rest. There is no sense of being watched, only the feeling of being allowed, permitted to move through these spaces as they settle into themselves. Lamps are spaced far apart here, creating small islands of warmth, separated by long stretches of darkness, and you drift from one pool of light to the next, without counting, without thinking. A covered walkway appears, arches repeating into the distance, their forms softened by shadow, their rhythm slow and protective. The floor beneath you holds a faint sheen, as though the night itself has laid a thin veil over the stone. Each lamp offers just enough light to reveal the next few steps, and no more, encouraging you to stay here, in this moment, rather than looking ahead. Eventually, the path leads back toward another gateway, quieter than the first, its stones textured and warm where the light touches them, and completely dissolved into darkness beyond. The city feels complete now, gathered inward, its edges defined not by walls, but by stillness. You pause here, not because you must stop, but because nothing is asking you to continue. The night has done what it needed to do, and you are already beginning to feel the gentle release, the sense that this walk can soften and stretch and slowly carry you toward rest. The deeper you move into the city, the more the night seems to settle around you, not as a weight, but as a gentle enclosure, drawing streets and homes inward, as though Rome itself has begun to fold its many layers into something smaller, quieter, and more personal. You pass beneath low archways now, where doorways sit recessed into thick stone walls, their wooden shutters closed, their outlines softened by lantern light filtering from within. Behind those walls, the day has ended. Voices have lowered. and lamps have been turned down to their final glow, leaving only the suggestion of life, resting rather than moving. In one narrow lane, a bakery stands silent, its work already finished. The oven still glows faintly, embers resting behind stone, releasing warmth that lingers in the air. Loaves have been set aside, baskets arranged neatly, and the tools of the day lie exactly where they were last placed, waiting without impatience. The warmth here feels domestic, familiar, like a memory that does not ask to be recalled, only felt. You move on, guided by the soft rhythm of light and shadow, passing a market stall tucked beneath a simple awning. The wooden table is bare now, except for folded cloth and a small lamp set low, its flames steady and calm. Baskets sit beneath the table, empty, their purpose fulfilled for the night, and the stone beneath your feet seems to release its remaining warmth as you pass, as if acknowledging the quiet exchange. A bathhouse emerges ahead, its entrance framed by columns darkened with age. Inside, the pools lie still, water smooth and reflective, catching the glow of lamps placed carefully along the edges. Steam rises only faintly now, the heat settling, the space returning to silence. Benches line the walls, empty and patient, and the arches above seem to hold the quiet in place, protecting it. You linger just long enough to feel the air change, cooler near the water, warmer near the lamps, then continue on, letting the space remain exactly as it is. Nothing needs to be observed closely. Nothing needs to be remembered. The night has already decided what to keep. The streets grow softer as you move deeper into the residential quarters, where homes cluster around shared courtyards. You glimpse one through an open passage, columns surrounding a central pool, plants resting in shadow, and a single lamp placed low near the steps. The water reflects the light gently, not brightly, just enough to suggest presence, and then releases it again. Inside one home, visible through a partially open doorway, a bedroom waits in stillness. A simple bed, blankets smoothed, sandals placed neatly on the floor beside it. A lamp rests on a small table, flame low and steady, casting warm light across plastered walls. The room feels complete, nothing left undone, as though sleep has already arrived and is simply waiting to be entered. A kitchen sits quiet, pots resting on hooks, jars lined along a stone surface, herbs hanging in shadow. A small fire has burned down to embers, its light barely touching the edges of bowls and baskets. Everything here has a place, and every place feels satisfied, holding no tension, no expectation. As you move through these spaces, you begin to feel the rhythm of the city slow even further, not because time has changed, but because attention has softened. There is no need to follow streets, no need to choose directions. The night carries you gently from one domestic moment to the next, each one quieter than the last. Lamps become fewer now, spaced farther apart, their glow dimmer, their presence more symbolic than practical.
The city has finished its work, finished its conversations, and now rests within its own walls, breathing slowly, evenly, without effort. And as you continue, your own pace follows suit, slowing naturally, easing into the same calm pattern, as though you are no longer walking through Rome, but drifting alongside it, moving exactly as slowly as the night itself. Ahead, the city begins to open, not into brightness, but into space, into wider passages and longer lines of sight, where stone stretches outward and the air feels slightly cooler, as though you are nearing the edge, the place where Rome loosens its grip and allows the darkness to expand. A covered walkway appears, repeating arches receding into distance, each one framing the next, a slow rhythm of curves and shadow. Small oil lamps are set far apart along the walls, creating islands of warmth separated by long, quiet intervals. Between each pool of light, the corridor becomes nearly black, not empty in a frightening way, but restful, like closed eyes, like a room after the lamp has been turned down. You walk beneath the arches, letting the pattern carry you forward. The stone floor is worn smooth from countless steps, and it holds a faint sheen, as though moisture from earlier in the day has settled into its surface.
The light touches that sheen gently, a soft amber trail that fades behind you, and then disappears. Somewhere nearby, water can be heard, not loud, not rushing, just present. A narrow channel runs alongside a stone path, its surface moving slowly beneath the dim glow of a lamp mounted low on the wall. The stones around it are dark and damp, catching thin highlights that shimmer and then vanish. The channel continues onward, disappearing into shadow, suggesting streets beyond, courtyards beyond, places you do not need to see. You pause near the water, not to watch it, but to feel its steadiness. The city may be quiet, but it is not still in every way. Some things continue gently, even through the deepest hours, and the sound of water moving through stone seems like one of Rome's oldest lullabies, repeating the same calm phrase again and again. Farther on, the architecture changes again, heavier, thicker, as if the city is gathering itself into a final boundary. A gateway rises ahead, built from large stone blocks, the arch broad and solid, its surface textured with age and weather. Near the entrance, a torch or oil lamp burns in a sheltered bracket, throwing warm light across the foreground stone, while everything beyond dissolves into blue-black darkness. The gate feels like an ending, but not a dramatic one, more like the last street light on a quiet road, the final warm glow before the countryside begins, the point where the city stops speaking and simply listens. You stand just before the threshold, not crossing yet, letting your eyes rest on the contrast. The lamp's light is close and human, warm and familiar, while the dark beyond is wide and quiet, with no details offered. It suggests watchfulness without presence, protection without demand. Behind you, the city remains. Courtyards, bedrooms, ovens cooling, pools settling, all of it held safely within stone. Ahead, the night stretches outward, open and patient, but release. And somewhere in that wider darkness, you sense the great structures of Rome, not as crowded monuments, but as silhouettes, as sleeping forms. A temple sits under torchlight in the distance, columns rising softly from shadow, the flames placed far apart, their light touching stone and then fading. It does not feel ceremonial now, only quiet, like a place left in peace after the last visitor has gone. Even the ruins beyond the center seem different at this hour. Not broken, not dramatic, just settled. Stones warmed earlier by sun now hold the last traces of heat, and the city lights, small, scattered and low, give them a gentle glow, as if Rome is tending its own memory with care, without insisting you look. You begin to understand the night here as a kind of closure, a slow folding of the world's edges. Streets that were busy are next still. Doors that were open are now closed. Fires that were bright are now embers. Water that was disturbed is now smooth again. And everything that remains quietly, with no need to prove itself. So you take one more step forward, not out of urgency, but out of softness, and you allow the gate, the arches, the water, the distant temple to become part of the same gentle rhythm, a sequence of calm spaces leading you toward the simplest feeling of all, that there is nothing left to do. Beyond the gate, the path no longer feels like a street, more like a pause, a gentle thinning of the world, where structure loosens and the night stretches out, wide and unhurried. You do not step far, only enough to feel the difference, the way the air cools slightly, the way sound seems to fall away on its own, as if the city has already carried you as far as you need to go. When you look back, Rome is still there, not bright, not imposing, but quietly gathered within itself. Lamps glow faintly through windows, arches hold their shapes in shadow. Courtyards keep their pools of darkness and light exactly as they were. Nothing has shifted since you last passed through, and nothing needs to. The city feels complete, finished for the night, content to rest exactly as it is. The great stones seem to breathe more slowly now, their warmth fading into the cooler air, their edges softening as detail gives way to silhouette. Even the tallest structures feel lower here, not because they have changed, but because your attention has settled, no longer reaching upward, no longer searching. Somewhere nearby, water continues its slow passage through stone, unseen now, but steady, patient, repeating its quiet movement without variation. Lamps flicker gently, not struggling against the dark, simply sharing space with it. And the darkness accepts them, without urgency, without resistance. You realize that this walk was never meant to take you anywhere specific. It was only meant to slow you, to lower the volume of the day, to let one place after another gently loosen its hold on your thoughts. Streets, rooms, courtyards, corridors, all of them offering a small release until there is very little left to carry. Your body begins to recognize the rhythm before your mind does. Shoulders soften, breathing deepens, the sense of direction fades. You are no longer moving through Rome. Rome is simply around you, holding its shape while you drift, suspended between light and shadow, between presence and rest. The night does not ask you to remember anything from this place. It does not want you to name streets, or picture maps, or hold on to images. It only offers a feeling, the feeling of being allowed to stop, of being permitted to let the world continue without your attention. The city has done this countless times before, gathering itself into quiet, dimming its lamps, settling its water, easing its stones into darkness. And it will do it again, night after night, without effort, without awareness of time. So you let your thoughts loosen, one by one, like doors gently closing, like lamps turned down low. There is no final moment, no clear ending, only a gradual softening until the idea of walking fades entirely, replaced by stillness, replaced by rest. The path behind you dissolves, the gate becomes only shadow. The city breathes on its own. And now, nowhere to be, and nothing required of you at all. You can simply rest.